Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, da-da-da.
Welcome to The Visionary Voice. I'm Lori DeGardi. The Visionary Voice is a series where I interview visionary women leaders and find out from them what it means to lead with personal power, what it looks like, and what is their vision, what makes them uniquely special in how they lead with personal power. And then you get to learn from them when they suggest 3 visionary leader qualities that you can follow so that you can lead with more personal power. It's really fun. And for sure, if you're a visionary leader, please reach out if you'd like to be on the Visionary Voice series. Today, I'm with Johnnie Lloyd. Johnnie is known as the pusher, turnaround speaker, and coach. She's a Napoleon Hill certified instructor, author, leader, influence, power expert, and leadership expert. Johnnie partners with others to provide out-of-the-box solutions for in-the-box problems. I love that. And she does this through critical thinking and empowerment to maximize your results. Wow, I love that bio, Johnnie. Welcome to the Visionary Voice series.
Thank you so much, Lori. It's such a pleasure to be here. I'm so excited about being here today. Thank you.
You're welcome. I just love this. And sometimes when 2 visionaries get together, we can go off script and the interview can go on and on and on. So I'm going to try really hard to
Okay.
and so inspirational to be with another sister visionary. Mm-hmm. The energy really builds up and you can't help but respond to that.
No, you can't. You can't help it. Because when 2 minds come together, they're greater together than we are separate. So that's awesome.
Yes. And I want to start off with, what is your lofty vision or your bigger vision that really guides you?
The vision that actually guides me, that's a great question, is actually to impact 20 million households, which is like, woo! And it started off, I thought it was $20 million, and I could wrap my mind around the money because that's what I've always done. However, the greater impact than money is actually impacting people's lives. And so that's my lofty vision. The lofty vision is coming in and impacting, transforming people's lives, helping them, guide them through the process of transformation so that the legacy that they leave will never be the same. So that's my lofty vision.
Okay, that's a big one. And is that 20 million households in the United States, North America, globally, or what?
Globally.
And when you talk about transforming them in order to leave a legacy, what are you transforming them from and to?
Wow, great question. Transforming from wherever they are, because sometimes we're in a great place. As women, we may have a career, we may be the CEO of companies or whatever, a great mom, whatever we are, to where you desire to be. Because transformation is different than change. Change gives me the power to, go back if I want to. It's like changing your clothes. I can put it on or take it off. It can be a mask. But transformation is something I cannot go back to. Now, that is a decision that they make with their own minds, because we all know that we can go back to old habits. You're smart enough to do that. However, it's seeing the habits or your life move in such a direction that you won't go back. Because there's 3 things we control. We control our emotions, we control our mind, and we control our will. And so helping them in that space to get to whatever their vision is, whatever their purpose is.
You said so much there that I could just dive in. but instead, I want to point out you made such a great discernment between transformation and change. And you didn't say necessarily they're in poverty or they're in an abusive relationship or they're stuck in a job they hate, but from wherever they are to where they want to be. And let me add, who they want to be.
Exactly.
Right? What makes them lead with personal power, right? Oh my gosh. Okay. I love that. And I Yeah, I'm happy to support that vision because that vision benefits everybody and it creates a world that works better for everybody. What does leading with personal power mean to you, and what does it look like?
It's me becoming self-aware, because I have not always led with personal power. I have led as from a position of authority. However, leading from personal power is an internal thing, and people will follow you because they know who you are as a person, not who you are in the position. The position, yeah, you're forced to follow people in position. But actually, the best leaders are people who I come in agreement with you to follow you, because then I'll do more for you. That's the influence aspect of leadership. What it looks like personally in my life is this. Any person that I meet, my desire is to add value to them so that when we leave, when we separate, that they're a little bit different than we were when we came together. And adding value is never negative. It's always positive. So that's how it looks in my life. No matter what, if I go to a restaurant, the waiter, the waitress, if I go to Walmart, wherever I go, I want to add value to the person that I'm interacting with.
Leading with personal power, generally speaking, is changing somebody's life for the better. You were saying about leading from that inner authority or that the personal power from within, because people relate to that. For me, it touches their heart. It makes their heart fire burn brighter. And of course you want to follow that because it feels good. And, once we connect with truth, it's hard to turn away from it. And to me, what you're talking about is like that fire of truth there when you're really leading from the inside out. So I love that. And then you're talking about how it looks like in your life, you want to add value to people. And you said that it can never be negative. Adding value is always positive. I can already tell you have this knack for taking nuggets of wisdom and making them so simple.
That is my mantra, actually.
Is it?
It's not simple. If it's not simple, then people can't follow it. It's like parables or taking something people already are familiar with and then adding something to that. So it's not like starting them from the beginning. Because sometimes when people come in to shift you or transform you or whatever, they tell you who you're not. And leading from within is about me finding out who I am so that you can find out who you are and says it's okay to be that. And let's move from there if you want to be somewhere else.
Yes, I love that. And what came to me is that when we're present with that truth that, goes beyond anything in the world, right? Because it always is, it always will be, it's there. When you're with that and not trying to be somebody, then there's all this space for the people you're with to open up and enter that space, because you're not pushing them out with your layers of what you think you should be doing or saying or doing, right? You're just present.
Authentic.
Yeah, and so you invite that quality of being out of the people that are with you as well. Adding value to people, you were talking about no matter where you go, who you're with, at a restaurant with a waiter or waitress. Is that something like, okay, how can I add value to them today? Or is it because you're just being your authentic self that it just naturally happens?
Well, because I care about people, it naturally happens because I meet them where they're at. It's like the lady in Walmart. She threw I went to Walmart and bought some fruits and vegetables, and she kind of kept on tossing them. And I said, did my apples do anything to you? And she started laughing. And she said, no, ma'am. And I said, you're not having a good day, are you? She said, no. And then I said, sweetie, and just pass a word of wisdom to her to tell her that today is not, it's not the end of the world. It's okay. Whatever you're dealing with, you can get through it, but you can't let everybody around you suffer because of where you're at. And she just said, oh, wow, thanks. And I said, it's going to be okay. So she said, yeah, so that's it. Adding value is not me determining what the value is. It's me caring enough to look at the person and even give them just a compliment and say, you know what, you were a great waiter. I appreciate your service, or something little, because sometimes our truth is we tell people what we think about them. And typically that is not positive. So most people are coming from a place that, a place of inadequacy, and people tell them who they're not, but nobody's telling them who they are. So mine is to just give them a seed to help them understand, yeah, you know, you're better than that. You can do better than that. It's okay. You know, that kind of thing. So I try to see who they are.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you don't even try, you just see them. And then you acknowledge them. And that assuages so much. Because, you know, we all want to be seen.
Yes.
And we want to be seen and acknowledged, not only in our pain, but in our potential.
That's great.
So I just like that. Will you write that down? Oh, it's recorded. Hey, your nuggets of wisdom.
I like that. I want that nugget. I like that. I love that. That's great.
Wow. Yes, I love that. Okay. We got to hang out more. But that's what you did with her.
Yeah.
And that is so important. One of my coaches, who I've been working on and off with for 10 years, I remember him telling me years ago, and of course I've learned to know this is the truth, that if we acknowledged each other all over the world, there'd be less conflict. You know, because a lot of power struggles occur and wars because it's a power struggle rather than me seeing you, seeing your pain and your potential.
Right.
It's about making you wrong, which never solves anything, right?
Wow.
So I love that you do that because it's so important. It's so important because you changing that woman's life by adding value, by just seeing her and acknowledging her, means that all the people that come behind you probably are having a better day too, because somebody might take what she was doing personally and then add to that drama.
Exactly.
Right. So you opened the door for a better life, better world, impacting people's lives in a simple transaction, momentary transaction. Wow. Johnnie, when in your life did you not lead with personal power? You know, what did that look like? And then what was the catalyst that made you go from disempowered living to leading with that personal power from within?
Well, one of the things, you know, I think everybody has a moment that they have to make a choice. It's a transformational choice. We either go down row A or row B, or, you know, it's a crossroads in our life. One of the crossroads in my life is when I was faced with a divorce, and I had just had a baby and degreed, all of that, had a great job. And because of some illness, I ended up sleeping on someone else's floor with my brand new baby on my chest. I remember the orange shag carpet. That's how long ago it was. It was shag. So at that point, I had to make a decision to either allow the pain I was going through to destroy me, or to go for something greater. So at that point, I moved from, I'm gonna say pity party, whatever, and moved into the, oh no, you can control this. You're gonna move, you're gonna make this happen. You have the power. And I had to encourage myself every day. And there are people, your viewers, even us, that we go through some things in life, we look at it and we say that this is it, this is over. And it's never over. Adversity and defeat is not over until we say it's over. Defeat is never final until we say it's final. So I got up and I ended up going overseas. I ended up putting in for anywhere in the world because I needed something different. I needed to just literally change my entire life. And it just so happens I ended up in Japan. So that was a huge shift for me. And then people have to give themselves time to go through the process of pain. Now, I can say this now, this is not necessarily what I did. I say now, don't let other people pay for the pain that you're going through. Easy to say, not as easy to do. However, when we do it, at least go back and apologize. Go back and try to fix it. Go try to mend it, because it's not their fault. They didn't do it. So it causes us to move forward. So yeah, that's a great example of me gathering my personal power and moving forward. And my whole life changed after that. My whole life.
And Johnnie, was that when that last thing you explained about not making somebody else pay for your pain, is that something that you did? You made somebody else pay for your pain, or were you the recipient of that from another person?
Actually, a little both. Because of the pain that I felt. The thing about pain is real to the person who's feeling it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. However, I lashed out with the same pain because I wanted other people to hurt. Mm-hmm. I wasn't mature enough. I didn't know who I was. I knew what I had, but I didn't know who I was. And so when I found out who I was, then I was able to heal, to forgive, to move on. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was me. I'm gonna talk about me. It was me causing pain to others, not hurting them physically, but some of the words that I said, which is really interesting now that I'm a heavy words person. Words matter. So, words really matter to me. So, and it's my truth, but I wasn't always that way. Mm-hmm. My process was very different.
Most people have inflicted pain from their own pain. Mm-hmm. Rather than respond with truth and honor, we react. After divorce, you found yourself living with somebody and sleeping on their floor,
right?
The shag carpet. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. How long? Another single woman who was going through kind of some of the same problems. She allowed us to sleep on the floor. We paid her. We shared the space. She had a couple kids, and so it was interesting.
Mm-hmm. And was it that experience and how you were talking about defeat and how defeated you might have felt at that moment, sleeping on the carpet with your baby? Was that a hitting bottom, or was there something more about that said, okay, this is not the way life is going to be?
Actually, it was that.
Okay.
Because I think if it had just been me sleeping on the floor, I think I would have been like, I can work through this. However, I wanted better for us. I was actually doing some things for her because I said, this is not right. But the other thing was, I wasn't raised like that. Truly had a degree, truly working for a government, truly supposedly had a great job, but I didn't have any money. Let's be real, I didn't have any money because I had made some really horrible decisions during our marriage. We had both made some horrible decisions. However, this is what I'll say is that everybody's bottom is different. I knew laying on that floor that it was almost like having an allergic reaction to something. Like, this is not it. This is my new low. Now it's time to rise up and move forward. So yeah, that was one of the worst, but the best, because I had a baby, brand new baby, but one of the worst times in my life as well.
Mm-hmm. When I was in an abusive relationship in my 20s. Oh. And when I got out of there, I moved to Germany for a job. So we have this parallel where this huge, at that point, it was more of a change than a transformation.
Okay.
For me, but it was a really wonderful improvement, kind of a change. But I had a lot of more transformative work to do. That came later when I became a mother and I hit bottom. I kind of swore at the heavens and said, you can screw with me, but don't you dare screw with my kids. Exactly. And that's when I decided that I made this choice that I needed transformation, because I did not want my children to inherit any of the dysfunctional, dishonorable,
oh my gosh, yeah,
stuff that I had lived up until that point. So we have a few of those things in common. And when I interview women on the Visionary Voice series, there's always these things in common as a visionary or it's really fascinating. And that's why it's so important for us to share our stories of when we weren't leading with personal power. What was the catalyst? What does it look like? Because we can all, you know, there's so many women's stories that we can relate to and find hope in, and
Yes.
just feel like we're not inadequate. You brought about that inadequacy. Somebody might think, like, I'm sure there's still women who are mothers or corporate leaders or business owners who have they're in abusive relationships or were, and they hide it because they're ashamed of it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing to be ashamed about, you know. The truth will set you free. It's a universal truth through and through. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I love that statement, because this is what I say, is that even as a culture, even as a people, and especially as women, we try to hide behind the things that we thought were negatives in our life, and we won't tell others so that they'll know that they're not by themselves.
Yes.
Because sometimes women think that, you know, I'm the only one that's going through this. But because of conversations like this, we find that we have more in common than we have differences, and we can tie that together and bridge power and get, you know, and bring everything together because of that. And that is real power.
Mm-hmm.
That is real power when we connect at that level.
Yes, it is. And it goes back to what you shared earlier and what we were both talking about, sharing both the pain and the potential. When we share our stories with how we transformed, we're sharing our pain and our power. So even though we're talking about our own stuff, it's acknowledging the pain and the potential in other people as well. You can't be powerful without vulnerability.
That's good.
And there's power in vulnerability. And so when you share these stories, you're going to that open place, which then allows other people to feel safe as well. I mean, it's just powerful in so many different ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, Johnnie. So what would you say is your unique quality, your unique essence of being that makes you you in the way you lead with personal power?
First of all, the way that I care about people. That is totally unusual. And the way I care about women. And the reason I say that like that is because I was at an event last night, and this lady said, you know, most people won't tell us about how to start a nonprofit, and you're just sitting here pouring out information. And I said, every time I pour out, I get more back. So I don't need to hide. You know what I'm saying? It's about giving out. So that's my goal. My goal, of course, add value. So that's what my goal is when I get up in the morning. And that's the push that I have for myself. I need to add value to others. So whether it be through, like you do it through a blog, you do it through the voice, this is so powerful because it adds value to people when we least expect it. Someone's on here, we don't know where people are. And I think that's powerful. I think that's what really matters.
Mm-hmm. So your unique something more, that unique quality about you is about how important it is. One of your top values is to add value, and that this unusual way you care about people. And wouldn't that be just wonderful if that was usual, the usual way we care about each other? I mean, it is probably for many of us, but it does seem rare in the world where everybody's trying to survive.
But instead of surviving, we get a chance to thrive when we pour into other people. Because it's just like having a glass. I don't need to pour any more water in this glass if it stays full. But when you share it with other people, you get a chance to get more water or more whatever in the glass. You get a chance to fill it up again. And then the other thing is, I'm known to be a pusher. It wasn't part of, and that has caused me some pain and it has caused me great success, because I look at people and I see the value in them. So my goal is to help them see the value in themselves and take them, guide them to the next level. Now, the thing about that is that we can't force people to go anywhere they don't want to go. I've learned that through experiences, life and all of that. So when people agree, of course, I'm there to help, to push, to help, to push, and help. So yeah, it matters. So that's what I do. And that's what I love. It's a part of who I am.
Johnnie, what are the top 3 qualities of leadership or being a visionary that you would recommend to other women in order for them to lead with more personal power?
One would be to celebrate one another. Sometimes as women, we've been known to be or have a tag, a label. Most women have a label. It's not true, but some people put the label on us that we're kind of catty and we won't celebrate another woman. I think when you celebrate one another, you do all rise to the top. It does, it's just so much power in the celebration. Number one, it releases some endorphins that to take me
I like endorphins.
Hello.
Would it be redundant to say they feel good?
Yes, they do. So happy thoughts. And then the other thing, of course, is through the celebration, we get an opportunity for other people to celebrate us when our turn. It lets us know that we're in the right space too, because when people are achieving their goals and they're in our circle, guess what? We're in the right circle. You know, so it makes a difference. Now, the other thing is the servant leadership. I'm a huge servant leader. And all that means really is that I look to others to help them serve. That I don't come in from a positional leadership or anything like that. I don't demand people follow. I help them and then and I serve them as the leader on top. And I've been fortunate to be in several key positions like that, whether it be in the government, private sector. So it matters, like you said, when you're a little vulnerable, people learn to trust you. They start giving you information. But part of that is to also let them find out what they want and help them with that, and then build on that. And then my other one that I'm gonna say is self-awareness. I think one of the keys with self-awareness is it's probably one of the most powerful things that any person can do for their leadership, for their life. Because when I know who I am, I can X a lot of things out of my life. Because that's not who I am. When I know what my purpose is, when I know who I am at my DNA, when someone offers me something that is not part of what I desire, I want, then I can reject it and say, no, thank you. I don't have to be harsh or anything, but it's about knowing you. It's not about listening to media or any of the other things out there to tell you who you are. You have to look at your inside to find your truth. And once you find your truth, rock it. Rock your truth. Because you're the best person in that lane. Oh. Nobody can beat you in your lane. It's just like we're not competing against one another. Right. We're completing one another. It's not about, this is not, I'm running their race. I'm running my own race in my own lane. I get a chance to win. I just need to keep on rocking it.
Oh my God, I love that. Yes. And I think there needs to be a song about that, by the way. To rock your truth. And yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. I want to point out those three qualities in order to lead with more personal power. Celebrate the other, and then open themselves to receive the celebration as well from other people. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. So, and then being a servant leader. Serve other people, serve other leaders, know what they need and help support them, because then you're also rising with them. The third thing was to be self-aware, or to increase your self-awareness. Now, so this is a really important. So I just want to explore that idea a little bit more. I often say with almost anything I teach or write about, is that the first step is self-awareness, right? Like any transformational change, you didn't get off the carpet because you just eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I mean, that could have been a possibility, but instead you had some type of self-awareness in that moment. Do you have a recommended process for self-awareness that you could offer?
Yes, I do. One of the things I'll say is, let's do it like GPS. Self-awareness, just the first step in it is finding out where you're located. Don't worry about where you're going yet, because no matter where you're going, if you don't know where you're located, GPS can't help us. It just can't help us. That's one of the questions. Will you allow me to find out where you are? And if you say no, the GPS says, can't help you, basically. But when you allow yourself to find out where you are, to look internally and look at, this is what I went through. This may have happened to me, but it's not who I am. Who are you? So that's step one. And that may take a while. I encourage people to journal to get through that.
Yeah, so I'm hearing reflection.
Right, absolutely, reflection. So journaling and writing all that. And then be in a safe place with other people. And I would recommend, if it's a woman, which we're talking to women, is to find some women that you trust. And then they can give you the truth of their perception. And then you can work from that place as well. You're not changing because of them. You're just seeing, it's hard to judge yourself when you're in the frame. So it's someone else looking at you and telling you, giving you some insight. And let it not be people who are critical. And then the other thing is, I really believe in affirmations. I did a book called Legacy Moments, Transformation That Goes Beyond Change. Part of the book is affirmations. When you affirm yourself, because sometimes we have to affirm ourselves. You may not be in a place that other people can affirm you. So affirm yourself. Speak who you are in the present tense with I am statements, and then start walking it out. Just start walking it out. It's a process. It is not a destination, is my last thing. Remind people it is a process. It is not a destination. Because I'm still in the process of still transforming other things in my life. I have not arrived. And that kind of mentality allows us room to continue to become better. And so that's just a few nuggets that will help people in that process.
All of those will help increase your self-awareness. And another word that goes with that for me is self-discovery. And self-discovery is all about leadership discovery as well. So reflection and knowing who you are, where you are, that metaphor about the GPS, and then having a support system you can trust. And Johnnie, I'm sure, I mean, this was me for a while. I'm not sure if you had this experience, but I see a lot of other people will have a support system that aren't supportive. They go to people who they can't depend on and trust. So you who are watching this, it's so important that you have people you can trust.
Yes.
Otherwise, they're not a support system. Right?
Right. And this is the thing. Most of the people that we know, we can't trust them. They've already proven we can't trust them, with little things. If you tell them one thing and you get it broadcast, that is not the right people. So it may be us stretching to a support system that we would have never imagined. It may be us getting a coach. It may be us going to counseling. It may be something like that. But this is what I know, and I know from experience, is that we cannot hide from ourselves. So when we have bad self-talk in our head, we can't hide that. So we need to do something to counteract that. Because some of us have been told who we're not, and so we don't know who we are. So we have to do whatever it takes to invest in ourselves, whether it be coaching, be a safe place, whether it be going to a counselor, safe place that can give us some insight on us. Do whatever it takes, because on the other side of that is such victory. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I cannot, it's just amazing what happens to your life and what opens up in the atmosphere, how your life changes, how you change internally. You can't be held down. Your life becomes limitless because you know who you are.
Yes. Listen to Johnnie, because she's speaking the truth. And, I may use similar yet different words, but for sure, when you take time to slow down and go within and really get embodied, that embodied awareness and tap into your inner wisdom. That is also that's like one of the biggest practices that I recommend, because that deep truth within you can never be tarnished. It can never be taken from you. It doesn't matter how many people tell you what you're not for how many years. When you slow down or even stop and go within, get out of your head, because you have to be in your body, and tap into that core of you is what then can come out. And what you're talking about, Johnnie, it is limitless. It is freedom. It is powerful. It's what the world needs. It's transformative, not only for you, but for everybody and the world, because the best thing that we can give to the world is our authentic selves, right? And that has been my journey. And I know that you must be, you're here with me today because that's been your journey.
Absolutely.
And then we're helping other women in our own unique ways along that journey as well. We're all in this together, as you said, in our own lanes, and we're leading each other to the victory line, to home, to a better world, to freedom, to glory.
Yes.
I love the word glory. It rhymes with my name anyway. Tell me again, your book on Kindle. So it's a Kindle book, Legacy Moments, Transformation that goes
beyond change. And I have a copy of the book, actually, so I can show it. It's Legacy Moments, Transformation that goes beyond change. Okay. It has affirmations in it. It deals with our past and our negative self-talk. It is on Kindle, and all you have to do is Google it or Google my name, and they can pick it up that way as well. But this is what I'll tell people, and it's the same thing you said earlier, Lori. Principles work. So when you follow a principle, it just works. It's like gravity. It works. However, you have to do what the principle says to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's principle based, and it impacts your life. It helps you in that transformation process. So yeah, it has you look inside. It has you deal with yourself and all of that. So yeah, it's powerful. Okay. Not just because I wrote it. It's powerful because of the principles.
Yes. And I would say both, and because you wrote it.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so is it available in hard copy or just Kindle?
It's available in hard copy. All they have to do is go out to my website, and they can just send us a notice, and the publisher can send them a copy.
Okay. So let's look at the website. I have here johnnielloyd.com and Absolutely. Mind Your Legacy. Mind Your Legacy. Okay, sorry. A little slow here. Can you find the book on both those websites? Or
the best one to order it on is Mind Your Legacy.
Who would you want to hear from, and why? And how would they contact you?
The way they would contact me is actually either website has a way to contact. And I'm out on Facebook. I have Twitter and all that wonderfulness, LinkedIn. However, let's talk about who would contact me. I think that's the most powerful piece, is people who are interested and see, desire, have a passion for something greater. They may not even be able to define their definite major purpose. Like at one point I wasn't. However, they have a desire for something greater. Whether they're over a women's group and they need a keynote speaker to come in or whatever. Reach out for something greater is who should reach out to me. If they're interested in their status quo and they think that they're perfect, we're right where they're at, and they're happy and they don't see anything beyond their today, I'm the wrong person. Literally the wrong person to reach out to. However, if they're looking for something greater, if they desire to step off, or they have great lofty plans or visions, they have an organization that they need assessments for, the better the person is, the better their organization is.
Absolutely.
The people matter. And so when you invest in the people, whether it be someone comes in motivationally and speak, or challenges them to go the extra mile, that's what we come in and I can do.
Yeah, I absolutely highly recommend
Oh,
them
thank
to contact you, because not only will you just add value because that's just who you are, but you have also practical steps that are easily followable. Is that a word? And you speak it in everyday language and those nuggets of wisdom. So you make it so accessible for people.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
It's
welcome.
been a pleasure to be here.
Oh, this has been fun. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you, Johnnie. So reach out to Johnnie. You heard what she's all about. She's a wonderful visionary leader. She has so much to offer. And of course, if you would like to touch into your inner wisdom and honor it and lead with more personal power and be the authentic visionary leader that you know you are and can be. And I have to say, if you're fed up with a life that does not honor the truth of you, please reach out to me. Lori at leadwithpersonalpower.com. It's Lori at leadwithpersonalpower.com. And please reach out with any questions for me or for Johnnie. So that's it for today. Thank you, Johnnie, for so much for being with me here and being on the Visionary Voice.
Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, da-da-da.